Here's Wilson, and on the right circle, he scores!
Rebound loose, wild scramble in front, score! Ovechkin with a buzzer beater! It'll count!
And the hat trick tonight, number 21,
Spectacular! Braden Holtby!
Hello and welcome once again to the Power Play Point podcast. This is the Blue Liner on Point, live to tape from downtown Glen Burnie, Maryland. And it's Tuesday, April the 23rd. And we are here to recap the playoff action, of course, most recent game being Game 6. Here to help us along, of course, as always, is the labeled sexy co-host, the mermaid memeing mentalist from Centerville, Virginia. It, of course, is the beautiful, wonderful Amanda Knox.
Yeah, to see how there's only one of us laughing. Only one. Okay. If you were, something just dawned on me that you're trying to do.
Like what?
You got something up your sleeve. I swear to God, if you play Rod Stewart or something, I'm gonna hang up.
Oh God, no. We can't afford the royalties. Good Lord, I can't get away with that.
That's true. But you know what
like,
song I'm referring to.
Yes, I do.
Okay.
But not a bad idea. But yeah,
I'm okay with that.
Gonna have to lock that away in my computer-like memory for future reference.
Okay.
But enough of the rustic talk. Yeah, we have a job to do here. Well, it's not really a job because neither one of us is getting paid for this, but it's more like a labor of love. Although, if you go by last night, there wasn't much to love about what we saw.
No, sucked.
Yeah, we're gonna cut. I want to apologize beforehand because this is going to sound like that we're rushing through this. We're actually not. It's in a lighthearted way. We're going to try and take this a bit more seriously than we normally do, and get through things a little faster than we normally do. So we're going to dispense with what all we've done and stuff like that, and our impromptu off-ice report, as it were. So we're gonna dispense with that. Not much happened with me anyway, and Anna took a nice trip down to the beach.
No, right. No, it wasn't. Well, yeah, it was a beach, but it was just this little tiny thing that we stumbled upon in Calvert County. And yeah, anytime I'm near the water, I'm happy. So that was good. And no,
Naturally.
so I agree. I've got nothing else going on. I'm going to start, just saying how tired I am after spring break. And that's about all. So let's go Caps talk. Yeah.
So, so we got a job to do. So let's go ahead and do it. Show 104 for those of you keeping track. So for those of you who are still with us, at least this long, God bless you. All right. So when we left you last, the first 4 games of this first round series had been played, and it was all even, 2-2, 2-2 like a ballet dress. And we went over some things that, the team could have done somewhat better in our last show, impromptu show, which was not officially 104, but 103A is what I labeled it. Anna decided we needed to have a conversation about the first 4 games before we got to the next week's show. So we did. Hope you all enjoyed it. And hope you also enjoyed the little, I don't know what to call it. I can't call it a lover spat.
No, that'd just be weird.
That would be weird and also untrue.
Right.
And also upsetting to our significant others.
Very true. Yeah, it was just, it was I
A
don't
friendly
know,
disagreement.
a friendly disagreement. There you go. There you go. Because yeah, I mean, we've always had. This isn't. Let's just say this wasn't our first one. Certainly won't be our last one. And it was good, but like Lisa said, we both had valid points. So to call it a draw, and I'm okay with that. Although I think
Yeah,
I
I'm
should have
also
won, but that's okay.
I'm also okay with Lisa being our unofficial referee for that. But yeah, speaking of referees,
Oh
boy,
my God.
I don't know if I should start with that, or you want to go ahead and start with that, or
Yeah.
did you want to do did you want to just do the recap of the last two games real quick?
Well, they're so polar opposite, and that's what's
Yeah,
infuriating.
yeah.
I mean, it's like, so what the fuck? And I mean, I was hoping to come on and just be like super amped because last night they were consistent, like they were at home, and the vibe and the rock the red and the love. And no, the fuck happened last night? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, we spoke, we did our friendly feud. How's that? What, on Saturday? Yeah, we must have before the game. Friday. And wanted to see them coming out playing 60 minutes of hockey. I'm sounding like a broken record. We wanted to see them like I've said, get back to the basics and no fans passes, and let's see some of those players that we haven't seen shining through so much step it up. And wow, the energy in that building came through on the TV screen for sure. I mean, I was just like so excited I know Robbie was there, and I have a coworker that was there, and it was like them talking about it is infectious in itself, because it was like, holy crap, like, listen, they're all chanting for DSP and they're chanting for TJ Oshie. And it's like, that's what made us, we just fall in love with the team all over again and the fans. And then 48 hours later, I'm, pissed, super just pissed at what went on last night. And
yeah.
So I don't know. I mean, I don't know if you just want to talk about last night and what we need to change for tomorrow's game.
You can't, as they say, you can't take the good without the bad, and vice versa is also the truth. So we might as well just go over both games. I mean, everybody saw it. The Caps did everything right from top to bottom. I don't know anybody that really had a bad game in Game 5.
Mm-hmm.
So, it was 6-0. Let's briefly recap the goal scorers. So, going back, Nicholas Backstrom is another Yogi Bear game picnic basket for everybody. Yeah, Anna, how'd you like the picnic?
Oh, stop. No. Where did that come from?
I like hearing you say no.
Sure you do.
Anyway, so Nick Backstrom, as I was saying, opened the scoring on the power play, 7:33 into the first, with a wrister, assisted by John Carlson and Tom Wilson. Tom Wilson with his second assist of the series.
Bravo.
That turned out to be the game winner, of course. Backstrom scores again approximately 7 minutes later on a wrister.
How fantastic is he playing?
Can we just... Well, I don't want to say easily, but
God,
he's probably the MVP of the team this series so far.
Yeah, just and like, I just love Ovechkin that much more for saying that Backstrom's, he's it, like there's so much admiration for those two, and you gotta love Backstrom, and just again, that quiet.
Well, let me just say this.
Such a badass.
Before we go on, let me just say this. I really, for anything else other than, of course, winning it for TJ, I really, really hope the Caps at least get on to the second and hopefully the third round and, of course, beyond, because I think with the way that Backstrom is playing, this will be a fantastic showcase for him. And it'll kind of stop with this ridiculousness of him being underrated. Speaking of Caps being robbed their just due, did you see the 3 Norris Trophy finalists?
And leaving out John Carlson? Are you fucking kidding me?
Again.
How does that even happen?
I don't know. The guy is amongst the leaders, consistently amongst the leaders in offensive categories for defensemen, and he gets no due whatsoever. And it's Brent Burns again, Victor Hedman again.
Right.
And I can't even remember the other guy.
It's a disgrace, you know?
It's not, yeah, I don't understand it. I don't get it. I just don't get it. But as someone commented in, I think it was True Caps, we'd rather him actually, if he's going to win something, let him win the cup again.
Of course.
So,
but this is an individual award that
I
he's
get
earned,
that.
you know?
I get that.
It's frustrating that, you know, this is not the first or second time he's you know, hasn't been on. And just as we were all frustrated when Backstrom wasn't in the All-Stars, you know, that I know they're totally two different things, but still there's, you know, the Caps kind of had their little bit of letdown this year with things like that. So let's hope, I'm all for moving forward, but
let's hope that pisses them off enough to inspire him to greater things.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So Giordano is the third. Okay, I guess I kind of get that is the third finalist, but I don't know.
Whatever.
Not going to beat that dead horse. Okay, so finishing out the recap, Brett Conley gets his first of the series in the second period. A couple minutes after Backstrom does with a wrister, Ovechkin with another assist, Backstrom with a helper as well on that one. Then beginning of the third period, Tom Wilson on probably the funniest goal of the whole game with his net front. He didn't even, well, he did touch the puck, but he didn't put it in himself. He kind of had some help from the Hurricanes player who booted it in. So it was really an own goal, but Tommy touched it last. So he gets credit for that on the power play. And then comes the most unexpected goal, which is from Nick Dowd, who was awarded a penalty shot and used the old Matt Hendricks paralyzer move on Peter Mrazek and gets him to open his legs like a certain oldest profession and slipped
what
it
would
in.
That be?
I don't know. Just saying. Those of you out there who are curious can fill in your own blanks because I'm drawing one myself.
Okay then.
Well, this is a family show. I'm
really
leaving
not,
more.
But okay.
I'm letting everybody leave it to the imagination.
Okay.
And rounding out the scoring about 2 minutes, minute and a half after that was Ovechkin again. Well, not again, but his third on the power play. Slapper making it 6-0 Washington. And that capped off the scoring. And right around then, I think, was the start of the TJ Oshie chant. And of course, as you mentioned, the beginning of the game was the DSP chant. And he had, though he didn't make it to the scoreboard, he had a marked presence, as it were.
Yeah, he did.
To the game.
Yeah, he did.
He very much made the difference, I would say, in the opening 5 to 10 minutes, which, as I always say, is crucial. And as I said, top to bottom, everybody played a great game. They ramped up the forechecking. They ramped up the intensity. They were in the faces of the pardon me, of the Hurricanes all night. And getting back to the Brett Connolly goal, that one, as much as I enjoyed Tom Wilson scoring and the penalty shot goal, Brett that one was probably the most enjoyable, because that one, of course, was the play where there was the confused icing, as it were, or at least so everybody thought it was in the beginning, where Dougie Hamilton pretty much bailed on the play like a sailor from a sinking ship.
I think he didn't just bail. I think he, like, out of the corner of his eye, saw Ovechkin coming at him and probably shit his pants. I mean, like, he just did. It's almost like he flinched, and it was like, you fucking idiot. And you go by Dougie. How old are you? Like, seriously, how old are you? I don't get it. I can't take him seriously. Like, I'm regardless of what his stats are, he goes by Dougie. No. All right, sorry.
That's the second no I've gotten out of you. So we'll see how far that goes. Yeah. Right. It's Tuesday. But it's supposed to be the quiet day.
Tuesdays suck. So they do. Like, I'm fine to go back.
That's what I've been trying to tell you about Mondays for forever.
Yeah, see, but Mondays at school, it's like, hey, we come back, we just had a couple days off, it's all good. And then the kids are somewhat okay. And then Tuesdays they come in, and everyone today was in a mood. I mean, just every freaking person was in a mood today. And I was like, you're 10. What do you have to be in the mood for? I'm like, I lost 3 hours last night watching my team fall apart and eat shit to a Hurricanes team that, played dirty and are a bunch of assholes and total bunch of jerks. And yeah, so that was kind of like my mood today. I hate Tuesdays.
Yeah, I get that. I get that.
It's your day off, so you can love it. It's all right.
Well, I mean, it's my schedule. I'm used to it. But anyway, yeah. So that was, I mean, as a thing of beauty, as much of a thing of beauty as it was to see all of that, and the Mr. Dougie choking Flinch. and seeing the coming on of Ovechkin and the shitting of the pants and the scoring of the goal and such. So like you said, then 48 hours later came Game 6. And while it seemed to start okay, I mean, we really got a jolt, I think, a boost when they scored the first goal.
Mm-hmm.
And we thought, okay, all right, great. We're rolling again. Everybody looks good. Brett Connolly got his second of the series. And, Alan May, I mentioned this in our Facebook room. Alan May called it on the Capitals Talk podcast. It's good to see Brett Connolly score, because he usually, when he gets that confidence going, he scores in bunches. And
true.
Darned if he wasn't being proved right. So he opens the scoring, 5:06 in the first on a snapshot. And Lars Eller and Andrei Burakovsky in on the assist. So that third line looks like that was starting to get going again. It's good to see. And then a certain a-hole who will remain nameless, along with a certain other chicken shit that assisted him, ties it up at 1 even about 5.5 minutes later. And then the captain puts them back up 2-1 on a snapshot, assisted by Dmitry Orlov and Matt Niskanen. And that would end the scoring in the first. So we were thinking, okay, we're rolling again. This is looking good. And then the second period hits.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah. And I think, I don't know if it deflated them or what happened or how this goal came about, or if they just came out flat. I don't know, but it looked like most of the second period they were just out of it.
Completely.
And so the goal that was scored that tied the game, Tuvo Teravainen, and who wouldn't want a Teravainen with this guy? It was a weird developed play in that Jonas Siegenthaler, who was the fill-in, and he played. By the way, I'm not going to disparage him much.
No, he's been awesome.
He played terrific. The 3 games he's been in, even this one, he's been terrific. So they implemented the what I like to call the winter breakfast beverage defense. The winter breakfast beverage defense in Game 4. And what I mean by that is hold the juice and replace it with a Swiss Miss stir. And so anyway.
Only you knew what I was thinking. No, I'm not going to laugh at that.
What are you thinking? Tell me. Well, if you're not going to laugh, at least tell me what you're thinking.
No.
Why not? Why not? The world wants to know.
That's what I was thinking.
No?
Yeah.
That's 3 no's.
That is. I think I've hit my limit for the night. Oh. To think of something else.
Speaking of limits, no, I won't ask.
No, please do.
You usually are enjoying a beverage during these podcast talks that we have.
True.
What's your drink of choice this time?
I'm still doing my vodka tonic, but this is only number 1. So I maybe, who knows? When I said to you before I needed to refill my drink, but I was like, what? Oh, wait, I hadn't started to drink. I was having water. And then I made this, and now it's getting low. So maybe, I don't know, maybe I need to refresh it.
I have not yet begun to imbibe. And I don't think I even have to ask, but of course, during the game last night, you were commando.
I was.
No?
I was.
Okay.
I have been this whole, and that was the thing, was like, my God, when we were sucking, I was like, please don't make me have to put underwear on. Like, that would really, really suck, because like that's the first thing that comes off when I get home from work. Like, get them off. And was, what was on Saturday? Like Saturday, I was like, I can't like not go commando the whole day. So running errands and went out to lunch and everything else. And I was like, hey, this is awesome. And they kicked ass. And then, so I wore the same exact thing without washing it last night. So now I'm like, am I a little, not quite sure what to do, but the commando thing has got to go. Got to go. Like, it doesn't have to go. It is consistent.
Well, they got rid of the hot lap because that
yes.
wasn't working. So yeah, and I'm still tugging on my Oshie jersey, my old Reebok Oshie jersey. And it's that thing's probably due for a wash as well. But going back to the commando thing, you and I ought to go to a game together and bring a sign that says "Underwear sucks."
Totally.
Nobody will understand what the hell we're doing.
They won't. They won't. Yeah, and if Lisa's in the audience, we could be like, except for thongs, and it would just be fantastic. But yeah, oh man. And I've gotten a couple of questions on whether or not I was going commando in the games. And first I thought, really, do you have to ask? Because it's just a given. Like, but yeah, I've been, and then I've been asked, have I gone commando to the hockey games? And no, because I was wearing jeans. And I think we've had this discussion before. Like, I just couldn't. That's just not comfortable. But I don't know. Maybe the next game I just need to be like, fuck it. Go. Commando. Yeah.
No, I would say keep it up because, they played a decent 25 minutes last night. And then, it all even when they gave up the lead, which they did eventually, in the third. Jordan Stahl making it 3-2 on the backhander. But then, yeah, it all started to fall apart when, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but I get you on the other side of the earbuds, the speakers, what have you, the Caps fan listening to us. Thank God for you, keeping us going here. I understand your frustration. I really do get it, because I saw every angle of that replay of the disallowed goal, and I only saw one where they could have even made the case for why it was illegal. And I think it was in Sonia Kendall's room, the Washington Caps fans room, where somebody posted the actual rule and explanation that the league used as a guideline in their announcement, and it was kind of self-contradictory. So hard to say if it was the officials who sucked, which they did most of the night, or if it's the rule that stinks. But my point was, and this is in our Facebook room, of course, and I kind of had a back and forth with Brian Bigham, of all people,
Right.
that, hey, look, yeah, it sucked that the goal was taken away, and that kind of sucked the momentum out of them. But even before that, they were not playing all that great,
No.
and
I don't know what happened. I mean, truly, like, Carol, well, it's like I never like to talk about other teams, and praise them, because I just won't, and I don't like to. However, Carolina just came out and they just wanted it more last night.
Yeah,
And
absolutely. They were obviously the more desperate team, obviously.
Right. Well, 100%. And the fact that, God, just the amount of hits alone was crazy. And the fact that I actually, for the first time in, God, I don't know, 4 years or so, I thought Justin Williams was a super bitch last night. Like, I just, ew. Like, when I saw him on the ice and like just the way he was acting, I thought, God, what happened to the guy who, not, I know I've joked about him like being that kind of goofball, but that Mr. Game 7 and came to the Caps, and he always had like, on the bench, and always looked like the guy you wanted to go have beers with after the game, was a total bitch last night. I did not like Justin Williams' vibe at all. Was it desperation? I don't know. But he just, God, he rubbed me the wrong way. And then anytime I had, again, like, even though we just totally spoke more than I ever wanted to about this player, really, Dougie, that's your name? Not Doug, Douglas, Dougie. Like, I just can't. I can't. Like, I just, no. So that's, yeah. And it's funny, because I'm in my son's room right now, where I do my recording, because that's where everything's kind of hooked up. And I actually, on his bookshelf, have a Tom Wilson bobblehead. No surprise there. I've had it for, I don't know, whenever I did the blood drive 4 years ago or whatever. And I have a Justin Williams one. And I'm almost kind of like ready to just, throw it in the trash or something. Yeah, because I was like, oh, but Justin Williams, and I liked him when he played for the Caps. He was a bitch last night, and now he's just totally irritated me. So I may have to like put him, I don't know, in the closet or something. So I was very, very frustrated, and kind of foot off the gas are comments that I think we both saw on social media. I think Ron has made comments like that, and then I think we all were just sort of shaking our heads with like, what happened? What happened in 48 hours for, the road trip wasn't long. They had Oshie out at the other game. DSP stepped up. Everything was fantastic. What shifted to make them all of a sudden play a great 20, 25 minutes, like you said, and then all of a sudden it just sucked?
Well, not
Fancy
to beat
passes and sorry,
not,
go ahead.
Not to beat a dead horse, and not to start that argument again, but pardon me, Chris Levesque kind of well, not kinda. I don't know if he posted this in True Caps or our room, but he laid it out. He said, "Hey, I want an explanation from Mr. Reardon as to why this team was not prepared." And I was like, "Yeah." When I saw that, I was like, "Yeah, that's kind of what I was trying to get at."
But why does
Last
it? But
mini
why?
episode. Yeah, I look.
I know.
I get that
That's
it's
where we
on the
started again.
players too. That's why I didn't want to start the argument. Yes, it's definitely on the players, but he kind of has a point. You want to look. 2 years ago, the Caps faced a difficult first round against kind of sort of a speedier, more skilled team in the Toronto Maple Leafs. And they had the 3-2 edge. And Trotz came out and said, well, yeah, we got the lead. And his quote was, it's time to push them off the cliff. And that's kind of what you don't get that kind of a vibe out of Todd Reardon. You just don't. And I mean that's kind of what I was getting at, but I do kind of sort of see your point in that yes, the player should know that hey, it's an elimination game. We got to get rid of these bunch of jerks, these pests, and put them out, put them in their place.
Right. Well, and
So
also, if you've ever played a team sport, rarely does it come down to the coach that is needing to kind of light the fire a little bit or to spark a fire or to get them motivated. Yes, you have coaches that can stand there and be very charismatic and we can all think of watching Miracle. There are the coaches who can stand there and say things. However, when you are in a team sport and you guys are together, my God, these guys are together, pretty much 9-10 months out of the year, living together, traveling together, whatever. There's always going to be 1, 2, 3 people, regardless if it's a captain position or not, who is going to say enough is enough. We fucking got this and let's go. And that's why I put it on the players, because what goes on in the locker room, and it's probably super unprofessional. And no one really wants to know what those guys do, grab, say to each other. That's their own, that's their own thing. But that's what it comes down to. And when you see them come out right before they're coming out for the game, and they all have these little superstitious hand gestures and whatever else, that's what gets your team motivated. And for DSP to come out and be like back to back and all this stuff, hell yeah. So yeah, I put it on the players. There was nothing that should have been different from Saturday to last night's game. Absolutely nothing.
I get all that. And so bringing it back around to the players, look, I don't want to hear anybody, at least within Caps fandom, say, "Oh, what's Ovechkin doing? How come Ovechkin's not leading his team?" Well, guess what? He is effing leading his team.
And
he is going out there and doing all of the things that a captain is supposed to do.
I would say that he is the one player throughout all 6 games that has been consistent. He has been given 100%. He's not going to back down. And that should be contagious to the players. We knew Carolina was going to be tough. We knew that we were a larger team, like you pointed out before, but they're not ones that obviously we should be like, oh, we've got this. But how, where's Kuzi? Where's and I see the frustration.
Funny you should ask about Kuzi. Have you seen the Facebook page lately?
I have.
Did you see what got posted there?
The wanted post.
The milk carton poster.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I saw it. I saw that one, and then there was another one that was a wanted poster. And right, but of course, if he didn't, so everyone was like okay with him on the Saturday game. He doesn't do shit last night, and it's like, wow, where was he? Really, where was a lot of the players last night? As much as and I've never thrown number 13 under the bus, and I never will. you can tell that kid out there wants to score, and he is trying his hardest. But I still think that Orlov is, making stupid plays here and there. It was just an absolute disappointment last night. And but there's nothing we can do to put it behind us. And we have game 7 at home. And let's just hope that they get into the minds that they were before for everybody.
Yeah, yeah, hopefully so. So, look, I'm probably going to get a lot of unpopularity marks for this, but I think it has to be done. So I'm going to do a quick roll call here of players on the Caps that deserve to be taken to task. So bear with me a moment here. I'm going to start with number 92. Hey, Evgeny, remember what you did last year? I don't know what happened between then and now, but get it back, please, and now, and fast. Quit going for the pass. Go for the shot once in a while, because if they know you're going to pass, guess what? They're going to take that element away from you, and they have. Mm-hmm. And I'm sorry, but that part of your game is sucking right now, okay? Get it done. Jacob Vrana, yes, you're trying, okay? Stop trying and start doing, please. We need you to get involved more. Lars Eller, eye of the tiger. You're the tiger. Well, start playing like it. You've been playing like a lamb. Andre Burakovsky, I love the fight that you have in the game, but you got to start going to the net, okay? Don't be a Dougie Hamilton. Don't be afraid to get dirty. Start getting your nose towards the net and start doing what you do best, and that's scoring. Dmitry Orlov, for the love of God, quit handling the puck like it's an Indian rubber ball, for crying out loud. Make the smart play. Just clear it off the glass or off the boards when you have to. Stop bobbling it. John Carlson, you got a hell of a shot. You don't always have to use it. Find the open man on the power play. Did I leave anybody? Oh, Matt Niskanen. Okay, you're a good talker. You know what has to be done. Let's see you do what has to be done and play like you believe in the words that you're saying. Please. All right, now I'm done.
All right. That was kind of hot.
I'm going to let that go.
No, I agree. And that's just it. If there was one player that just sucked and all of us were like, God, Reardon, pull so-and-so. But it's this across the board. It's like, what just happened? Like, we should not be having this conversation about Kuzi. We just shouldn't. And I hate
second,
to say,
third, fourth line. It's not happening. It's just not happening offensive wise. And
right.
That's what's killing them.
Right. No, I agree. And I said it however many 50 something episodes ago. He was never the same when he went out with his injury. And I'll stick to that. He didn't, he came back and it was like, what's going on with Kuzi? And he had, a couple little moments here and there. We're like, oh yeah, there's the Selly. That's cool. But he's just not, I don't think he's ever come back 100%. But that doesn't matter.
He's had 50, 60 games or plus to get back in game shape. And if he's not in game shape by now.
Well, that's what I'm saying. I just don't think that, I don't know what happened. He just didn't come back the same player. And that's a shame because, you don't hope it's certainly not something more serious, but, no, and it's like, again, in one of our very, very first episodes, I remember, I think it was probably one of my first soapbox moments of, hey, listen, do you know people want to be, an NHL player? It's tens of thousands of we'll say right now, males that want to be a Capital. They want to be the Ovechkin or the Holtby or whatever it is, whoever they admire. So when you earn that position, you need to give it 100%. There should be no reason for them to be tired. If anyone's going to be tired, how about the freaking Sharks night game that went into 2 overtimes the other day? I mean, that's a team that I'd be like, oh my God, those boys have got to be exhausted. because it wasn't just, 5 minutes of overtime. It was 2 20-minute periods on top of the 60 that they already played. That I could say that they're tired. This is no, there's no jet lag. So come on, put your big fucking pants on and big boy pants on and do what you're supposed to do and shut the Carolina team down tomorrow. No excuses. I should go to the locker room.
That'd be a shock.
Wouldn't it?
I think so. But yeah, I mean, so you just, well, I hate to keep bringing this up, but you kind of sort of just, well, whether it comes from the coach or the captain or somebody in that locker room, yeah, that's the kind of thing they need to hear.
Yeah. And I think it's, I'm going to say it's the players, because you know what, you gotta, when you're in that locker room and someone, and and I've never been in the locker room as a male NHL player, but I will say, when I swam, and say if I had to be on a relay, okay, there's 4 people on the relay, and if one person just all of a sudden sucks, like they just kind of don't feel like giving it 100%, the whole relay is affected by that. So you better believe, like, when we're all, after the race looking at each other like, what the fuck happened to you? You call somebody out, that means so much more when your colleague, your friend, your, whatever you want to call it, calls you out on it, versus when a coach comes in and is like, I don't know what happened, but you guys just blew it. Way to go. Here are the times. No, when it's heart to heart, and someone says they're disappointed in you, you're going to take a little, you're going to take that to heart. And so I wouldn't, that's why I put it more on the players. Like, all right, I don't doubt that Ovechkin's trying to get everybody riled up, but it shouldn't always have to come down on him.
Yeah, that's very true. And that, and yeah, I get that the bench can only do so much, and the captain can only do so much, and the team leadership can only do so much. Sometimes you just got to, pull yourself by your own jockstrap and just get out there and do what needs to be done. I get that, but it's also easy to say that. Now, maybe they need some sort of, I don't know, otherworldly jolt, like TJ Oshie coming back to the locker room saying, hey, look, guys, win one for me, maybe something old-fashioned like that. Here I am, my arm's in a sling. I'm with my 2 little girls, but as much as I love being with my family, I really want to be out there with you. So, be my arm, be my legs, get out there and do what you need to do. Something old-fashioned like that. I'm probably going to confuse the hell out of our younger listeners, but something like a win one for the Gipper speech or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe they need something like that, and to shame them, like you just said, to motivate them. I don't know how it's going to happen, but it's got to happen. And I've said this before, though, if they can find it within, whether or not it's from us, the fans, or within the locker room, they have to find that reason, that reason for being, that will to push on no matter what. And so this is one last plea as we head towards the end of the show here, end of the episode here. I'm going to talk about a few other things in a minute, but as with regards to this series, anyone listening to this who is going to be at the game tomorrow night, okay, do your loudest. Do your best to be loud as you can, more like it. So if you have to show up for work tomorrow in a near laryngitic state, talking like, I'm going to throw out another dated reference, Froggy from Our Gang, okay? If you got to end up talking like that by the time you leave Capital One Arena, so be it. But you got to scream loud and proud. You got to make as much noise as you can when the Caps do what they do best, and that's dominate the game. You have to will them towards that. And a certain Canes fan likes to think that the fans don't win games. Well, welcome to hockey. They do. I've said it many times. Doesn't mean that I make it true. We, the fans, collectively make it true. Deal with it. Okay, so that's the end of our recap, as it were, of the last couple of games. I want to get into a couple of topics real quick, and I just hit upon one just now. Wow. I don't think any of them are listening. I don't think, and if they are, hi. But you Canes fans, especially the ones of you that decided to climb on the bandwagon in Game 4 or something like that, or the day they clinched the playoff berth. Hoo boy.
Hold on. Are you sure that you even want to give them the time of day on the podcast? Is it even worth it?
Look, all I'm going to say is y'all got a lot to learn about this game. Okay?
Sorry.
Y'all got a lot to learn about this game. Okay? It's not called a floor check. Okay? It's called a forecheck, not a floor check. Ain't no goddamn floor in this game. Okay? It's a sheet of ice. It's called a forecheck. Fore. Okay? Learn the game if you're going to try and be a fan. Okay? Please, you're embarrassing yourselves. That's all I'm going to have to say about that. So,
Okay.
yeah, I didn't want to give them the time of day, but I had to put that out there because they're embarrassing themselves. They're embarrassing the game. So I have to call them out on it. I'm sorry. Now, we touched upon it earlier, and I want to get this out of the way as well. Ovechkin towards the end of Game 6, slashed the hell out of Saku Menelainen, who, I'm sorry, he deserved it because he was being a pain in the ass all game, and got himself a misconduct for bitching at the refs. Well, yeah, aside from the disallowed goal, they were horrible the whole game. And so I think they need to be called out as well. And they have done collectively, I think, not only in this series, but in all of the series, I think, there have been egregiously bad missed calls, at least one in every series.
Oh, God, yes.
In every series that I've seen. So, again, you talk about a group that's embarrassing themselves.
Right.
My God. And Paul Stewart, who was an old-time referee, he's a former referee, did over 1,000 games in the 80s and early 90s. He even called them out and said, look, we probably have to revisit how we're training these guys. So, I mean, it's kind of obvious. And it's starting to give the game a black eye. Now, I just want to end that part of it by saying, look, my cat, BJ Oshie, is black and white, doesn't have any stripes, but is black and white, just like the refs are. And he could have called a better game last night.
Especially
okay,
like BJ.
He could have called a better game last night. Jesus H. Christ. That was just terrible. Chris Rooney ought to be ashamed of himself. My God.
That's why I was like, seriously, how much are they paying these refs?
Terrible.
Carolina. I mean, it was absolutely disgusting. And you know what? I have nothing bad to say about how Ovechkin handled that last minute or so.
No, I don't blame him at all.
Enough's enough. He plays professionally. This is not his first time. He's not a rookie. You know, he's our fucking captain, and he had it because it was becoming a joke, an absolute joke. So yeah, I don't know who's coming to DC tomorrow, but those guys should be done.
Yeah,
Wes McCauley,
Dan O'Halloran, Chris Rooney. If either one of them makes it to the next round, there needs to be an inquiry. They have done a shit ass job.
Agreed.
Terrible. Okay. So yeah, rant over. I told you guys listening, I do feel your frustration because I did see it myself. I'm not going to look, I don't want to put it all on the refs because it's got, like I keep saying this, it's got to come from within, but you call a spade, and that's what I'm doing. So we'll end on this note, and I'm putting this out there to, I'm not going to name his name, but, and this goes back to something that happened in Game 3. What I'm talking about is the Ovechkin fight with Svechnikov.
Mm-hmm.
And it so happened that quite a few fans, not a majority, I want to say, but enough fans, and I want to say this happened in Sonia Kendall's room, Washington Capitals fans. I remember what it was. And look, I don't want to dismiss this person because they're a female.
Just say
but I'm not going to glorify her by saying her name, but a know-nothing journalist who doesn't normally comment on hockey, so I question her hockey knowledge versus someone like Nicole Giordano, who lives, breathes, eats, and sleeps hockey, and you could tell by her writing. By the way, puckerupsports.com. Catch one of her articles or her staff's articles. They're now branched out in Toronto and Boston as well. If you're a fan of those teams, just want to give a quick shameless plug for them. But by comparison, you can tell the passion and the research and the knowledge if you read one of her articles versus this lazy article from this USA Today writer that said, "Oh, fighting's barbaric and outdated and shouldn't be included in the game." Well, it just so happens that I disagreed, and another fan called me out and said, "Well, what? Fighting doesn't really belong in the game. Why do you say it's part of the game?" I didn't dignify him, but I'm going to answer him now. The reason fighting has always been and should always be part of the game is that, well, more than any other sport, even football, dare I say, physicality has always been a hallmark of the sport of ice hockey. Always. And fighting marks the truest barometer of how physical things get. What I'm trying to say is, if you bothered to watch the game, okay, at least for the most part in the regular season, sometimes in the playoffs, you ever notice that when there's a fight, the physicality, or at least the cheap stuff, tends to tone down, tends to lessen quite a bit? You know why? Because both teams have had a representative air their grievances with their fists, settle the whole team's differences, represent each team by duking it out the old-fashioned way, solving their problem the old-fashioned way. And that gives the rest of the team the resolution to that intensity so that they can concentrate on doing their jobs. It just, when there's a fight, next time there's a fight in any game, not just a Caps game, pay attention to how the rest of the game tends to flow. Unless it's one of these line brawl type games where it's fight after fight after fight. And obviously then the teams have a grudge against each other. But just pay attention to what happens after a fight occurs. Okay? And you'll see what I mean. All right? So no matter the outcome after a fight, there's a sense of resolution. And that sense of resolution lessens the physicality. Teams get away from the cheap stuff and they go back to doing their jobs. They get that resolution, whether or not their guy won the fight or not. They're like, all right, okay, our guy stood up for us. They duked it out. Okay, go back to doing it.
All right.
You know? So that's what I wanted to say about that. So for that reason, fighting will always be a part of the game, because if you take that out, then yes, I'm sorry, the slippery slope argument applies. Okay, it's going to be stick swinging and really violent stuff that teams will get away with given the bad officiating that's occurred. So it's a self-policing mechanism, and it really does have some sort of effect. You listeners out there that doubt me, again, next time there's a fight in the game, watch what happens afterwards. So sorry, but that was my 2 to 3 minute soapbox moment for that. So make of that what you will. All right, so we'll wrap it up here. You guys listening, you know what to do, whether you're watching at home or in Cap One. Scream it loud and just do it. So with that, this is the Blue Liner on Point signing off and reminding you that Dougie Hamilton must have been born in a carnival. You know why? Because he's obviously softer than cotton candy. Hallelujah, and let's go Caps.
Go Caps.
This has been another episode of the Power Play Point podcast. All episodes are available from Apple Podcasts, the Podbean app, blueliner77.podbean.com, and now available from Stitcher. Music by Joe McAllister, voiceover by Jeffrey Conkle.